Hey guys, welcome to this 100 most popular algorithm series. I'm back with another video. In this video, we'll be taking a look at lead code problem number 20, which is valid parentheses. So it is easy categorized problem, and it is, as you can see, it is liked by many people. Okay, let's check the problem statement out. So we are given a string which will contain just the characters these. Okay, so there are three opening braces, round bracket, curly bracket, and the square bracket, and there are closing ones too. So our job is to determine whether the string is valid or not. So there are two conditions that are given to us in order to check its validity. One is the open brackets must be closed by the same type of brackets. So if we have an opening bracket, then there has to be its corresponding closing bracket. And also the second condition is the opening brackets must be closed in the correct order. Okay, the ordering is also important. Now these two things will become clearer when we see the examples. So in the first example, we have this, so there is an opening bracket. Now it is immediately followed by the closing round bracket. So this is a valid string, valid parenthesis. Second one is also valid because we have an opening closing of the corresponding type of brackets. That this is also valid. The third example is invalid because we have one opening round bracket and then immediately followed by the closing square bracket, which is not what we want. So this becomes invalid. And the last example is also will illustrate this second point, that the order is important. The brackets must be closed in the correct order. So we have one opening curly braces, then followed by one opening square bracket, but then which is immediately followed by closing square bracket, and then curly bracket. So this is important. If this was not the case, then this string would have been invalid. So I hope you understand the problem statement. Right, so how do we go about it? How do we go about solving this? So many of you might be aware that this is a classic stack problem. This can be solved by a stack where the logic is whenever we encounter a closing bracket, we need to push this onto the stack. When we push this opening bracket onto the stack, and when we encounter its closing pair, then we pop it out and match that with the current bracket on the string. So let me give you an example in order to make this clearer. So here I have a stack which I'm going to use in order to solve this problem. Okay, so let's see different cases. So one is the positive case, which is this. So let's see how stack can be used to solve this problem. So again, we'll parse the string from left to right. As I mentioned, whenever we encounter an opening bracket, we'll push it onto the stack, and whenever we encounter a closing bracket, we'll pop the last element on the stack and compare it with the current one. So okay, so let's see how it works. So let's say we start parsing from left to right. So we have this opening curly braces, so which we push it onto the stack. Then we move to the next element, which is this opening square bracket, which we also push onto the stack. Then we move to the third one, which is this closing square bracket. In that case, we pop the last element from the stack and then match it. So this is a right pair. So we are good so far. We'll move ahead. And the last one is this closing curly bracket. We pop the last element from the stack. It's a right pair, so we'll pop it out as well. So we are parsing the string, and the stack is empty. So if these two conditions are met, when the string is parsed and the stack is empty, which means it's a valid parenthesis. So that's the positive case. Now as far as the negative cases are concerned, we have three different types of negative cases. So I'll just cover all of them in detail. So the first one is when the brackets do not match, right? So again, following the same logic, passing from left to right, we have opening round bracket, so we'll push it onto the stack. Then we have another opening round bracket, we'll push it onto the stack. Then we have this closing square bracket, and which is not matching the last element of the stack, right? So that is an error condition. So this string is invalid in that sense. Now we'll move on to the second negative case, when in this case, we will parse the string completely, but the stack will remain non-empty. So that is a different type of negative case. So here again, following the same logic, when we pass from left to right, we'll push all three opening round brackets to the stack. When we reach to the end of the string, the stack remains non-empty. In that case, this is again a negative case. And the last one is this, when we encounter an empty stack in between the string passing, right? So again, let's start the passing from left to right. The opening bracket, I'll push it onto the stack, the closing round bracket, and then I'll pop it out and match. They are equal, so we're good. Now then I've reached this closing curly bracket, but then I do not have any corresponding closing bracket on the stack. In fact, the stack is empty. So this is another, so in that, this is a negative case, it's an invalid string. So I hope these examples have made the clear how will we go about solving this problem. Right, so let's start coding of this particular problem. Okay, so the first thing first, I'll do the sanity check as I always do. So let's check if the string, if not at the string, or the length of the string is less than or equal to 0, that's a negative cases. So I will basically it's a negative case, I'll return false. Now as we all discussed, we need a stack. So in Python, the list can be act as a stack where we can push or pop the elements in the end. So I'll use list as my stack. Then I need to iterate to all the characters of the string, right? So for that I'll use a good old for loop, and for every character in S, then I have to do something, right? Now the first thing I can check is whether I have encountered an opening bracket. So in that case, if I encounter an opening bracket, I'll just simply push it onto the stack. So if character is opening round bracket, or if the current character is opening curly bracket, or if the current character is opening square bracket. In all three conditions, what I'll do is I'll append that character onto the stack and I'll continue. Okay, so this was the easy one, the first one, the first condition. Right, then the next is we need to make sure. So now when our control reaches here, we know for sure that it's the opening, one of the closing bracket has been encountered, right? Because the opening ones are gone here. So now we know that we need to pop one element from the stack. But here we need to check if the stack is empty. It may so happen that if the stack is empty, then we have reached the first negative case, right? Which we discussed actually here, right? When the stack becomes empty in between, when the string passing is still happening and the stack is empty. So if that happens, if the length of stack is equal to 0, then we know for sure that this is a negative case that we've encountered. So we'll return false. Right. Then if the stack is not empty, then we will pop the last character from the stack. So we'll say stack.pop. Okay, so we have found the last character. Now we need to make sure that this last character that was popped from the stack is matching the current is a valid pair of the current character, right? So here we can make that check. If the current character is the closing round bracket and the last character is not equal to opening round bracket, then we know that is a negative case. Okay. Similarly, we need to repeat this 3 times, right? Similarly, if we have a closing curly bracket, then it has to match with the opening curly bracket, and the same thing is true for square brackets. So I'll just put those thing down. So yeah, we have noted down all the 3 cases, all the 3 conditions. Now when we reach here at this point, we know that this particular pair was successful, right? So if we have the opening one, we have appended it. If you have the closing one, we have matched, and you know, this must have been correct. Right, so then in that case we'll just keep on iterating to the next character. Now, you know, so we have basically handled two negative cases. One is the stack empty case, and the third is invalid character case. So this third and the first one are handled. Now the last one is what we need to check again. When we have finished the passing of the string, if the stack is non-empty, then again that is also a negative case. So outside this for loop, when the string passing is complete, what we need to check here is if the length of the stack, you know, is not 0. So if the length of the stack is 0 at this point, then this string was valid, otherwise this was invalid. So these are the conditions that we need to add. So yeah, we are done with the code. Let's quickly check it. Hopefully there are no compilation issues. Yeah, so this particular test case ran pass. Let's just try running a few more test cases to check if the code is correct. Yeah, this one also got passed. Let me try this. In fact, let us try all the different cases that we have noted down. So the one is this, second one. Let me try that. This is the negative case. This should fail. Yeah, it got failed. Let me try this one also. Yeah, this one also got failed. So yeah, let us submit our code. There you go. So all the test cases were passed, and the problem got solved. So that's how you solve this problem. I hope you liked it. Stay tuned for more problems like this. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.